and it lasts for a while. It's just going to be a stream of moisture feeding into the same area over the next couple of days. So the really unique thing about this storm, Tropical Storm Cindy, is that the majority of the action's on the east side of the storm. And when you're looking at this infrared satellite imagery, where you see the deeper or brighter colors, that's where you have colder readings, okay? So that's where the clouds are getting really, really high, where it's very cold. When you have a tropical system that moves toward the north in the Gulf of Mexico, very often you get some pretty powerful thunderstorms. And these do have the tendency to create some tornadoes, okay? So I want you to be on the lookout. Just, make sure you have a way of getting information if you live anywhere in this red area. So that's basically the entire central parts of the northeastern Gulf Coast as well. You can see the radar just kind of keeps pouring rain in. Places like New Orleans, Gulfport, Mississippi, places like that are going to get a tremendous amount of rain. You can see the tropical storm watches and warnings that are out, most of the warnings east of Houston. And look at that rain. This is going to be a big-time rain producer that could lead to some pretty serious flooding. It's not going to stop looking like that for another 24 to 48 hours. I mentioned this is going to be the #1 problem with Tropical Storm Cindy. It's going to be flooding. We've had a lot of thunderstorms up along the Gulf Coast, and by the way, that's right off the Florida Panhandle.
Flash flooding is going to be the big problem, gusty thunderstorms, all kinds of travel disruptions.
When we look at this forecast cone, rather than focusing on where the center of the storm may go, which is what the cone is telling us, one thing you notice about the storm, look at this. You notice how much the right side of the storm has all the action, all the clouds and all the storms and all that kind of stuff on the east side of the storm, on the right side of the storm. So just remember, the area that is on the east side of that is going to take the worst of this storm. I don't think this is going to be too terrible of a storm for Houston.
Currently, winds are at 45 miles per hour. The movement is nearly stationary here, affecting the windwards. Trinidad, Tobago, it's going to be pushing westward. So for tonight, probably going to Tropical Storm Cindy is going to be causing some real problems here for the areas right along the Gulf of Mexico. So from southeastern Texas all the way over into the western panhandle, right along the coast there of the western panhandle of Florida, we have tropical storm warnings in effect here. And so what that means is we could see sustained winds, 39 to 70 miles per hour as that starts to come on shore. And then also some storm surge and flooding. In fact,
over a foot of rain possible on the Gulf Coast. The pressing issue is rainfall, period. Yes, if the red is rain, that's a lot of rain. 15 to 50 inches. There you go. See that right there? 15 to 50 inches. When it gets to be that color, it's 15 to 50. Now, I'm colorblind. I don't know if we made it there. But the fact that we are one standard deviation away from a 35-inch water jump, that shows you how serious the situation could be.
Well, we now have a tropical storm in the Gulf, and it is Tropical Storm Cindy. Plus, we have Tropical Storm Brett.
Anytime we get a tropical storm or a hurricane that forms in the Gulf of Mexico, it can put people on edge a little bit. But look at this pretty sizable tornado. This is associated with Tropical Storm Cindy for sure. Got to be very careful with this stuff. Tornado threat's going to last through tomorrow.
A lot of tropical moisture just moving northward.
One of the biggest problems we're going to have with Tropical Storm Cindy, in fact, the main problem is going to be flooding.
We're going to be hearing about flooding problems throughout this whole region where the green is.
So we've got flash flood watches in effect for a really good chunk of the central Gulf of Mexico. This includes New Orleans, Gulfport, Mobile, Panama City, really a good chunk of the Florida Panhandle, all the way through at least half of the Louisiana Gulf Coast. You notice how, at least in relation to where the center of the storm is, all of the action with this storm, it's on the east side of it. So you can just picture that all just kind of streaming up into those areas where you saw that we have flash flood watches. So basically the amount of rain we're going to get here is going to cause problems.
Through Thursday, we could see amounts as high as possibly 8 to 12 inches locally here.
And the reason I want to show that is that some of that moisture is going to get pulled northward as we go through the course of later in the week. So
the temperature reached 120 degrees yesterday in Phoenix, Arizona, and we are talking really hot temperatures. This is for the desert Southwest, where we're talking all-time record highs that can be broken. It is going to be a scorcher, so definitely some dangerous heat on the way. Well over the 110 mark. Phoenix today, you're looking at 119. Palm Springs, 121 degrees.
So that's a score.
Heat waves can be very deadly. They cause more fatalities than any other weather event.
Really no joke here. These could be very dangerous temperatures.
Dangerously hot in the pink.
So it is just plain steamy.
Stay cool.
And you have to stay cool, right? We are going from cool to downright hot.
T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is a Thor News presentation. Are you cool? Because I'm going to be dropping some hard Thor News science upon you. Hit the button, baby. Thor News presents...
Alright, what's next here?
You gotta take Fight Club up a notch. How much can you know about yourself if you've never been in a fight? Wait.
Yeah.
It is certainly starting to get busy in the tropics.
As we continue to watch 2 areas in the Atlantic Basin,
We have 2 tropical systems that we're monitoring.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a style that is all me. It's the only style I know how to do. So if that is not for you, you better get your information somewhere else. Because the closer we get into this wacky madness, the less tolerance I have for people who just want to be negative. Because like if the world is going to end tomorrow, we should definitely do everything we can to enjoy life now. All right, with that out of the way, let's get to the super doomy crap. Okay? Yep, no, this is serious. This thing's going to kill people probably. But I have to maintain a sense of humor or I won't be able to do these again and again and again. In the last few hours, I noticed an uptick on Twitter in whether people freak outs. Now, they're not necessarily freaking out, but compared to their normal behavior and posting patterns, it's the subtleties that tell you what you need to know. Capiche? Did I say that right? Capiche? I like a quiche. All right, it's not funny. Granted, we're not talking in worst case scenarios, but if I'm the godfather of y'all, you got to be able to start thinking in worst case, best case scenarios. And if you do, you might start making better decisions. Regardless of classification, rainfall is the major problem, and any wind will be breezy and confined to beaches. However, can it leap? Sure. Uh-oh. Major divergence, strong fringe shear venting, small pocket of conducive environment, plus land interact could allow last moment organization uptick for classification. Oh, and here it has it in Texas. Major divergence of heavy rainfall, and this would have Houston getting a lot of rain. Okay, and that's where I am. Over a foot of rain possible along the Gulf Coast, around Mobile, Alabama, from New Orleans to Pensacola. Not a beach week at all. Here's the main point where I'm going to be covering this because they're basically saying from Houston to Destin, which is like Florida, Texas. So the entire scope of the United States of America Gulf Coast, they don't know yet, you know. But we know that this thing is a hunk of burning wetness. It's going to moisten everything. I'm really not trying to ramp up the sexual innuendos in my other videos, but it just somehow just keeps happening. What do we want to look at now? So much. All right. I like this one. I found it. It's new to me. It's the GOES 16 ABI 11-20 band 40. I don't even know what that means. And I want you to loop that. Yeah, loop it. Loop it. So I'm thinking about going to the beach at sunrise, trying to get some video of this thing coming in. What say you? I should get a Houston Texans cheerleader to go with me. Maybe she can cheer the storm to go in a very harmless path for all of us. This sounds just crazy enough to work. Man, look at that thing. Look at the chunk at the bottom. Man, there's so much weird stuff going on. Like, look at this map. What weird stuff do you see? And this thing is nasty. Wow, that cloud of major moisture almost appeared instantly. And if you look at it, you would think that, you'd think that it's going to make landfall in Louisiana soon. But no. It's like way back here, I think. I think it's over here. Let's check. We're a bunch of checkers. That's the worst joke ever. Okay. Crap. Kilometer. The thing's moving fast, man. That puts it square there under. So that puts it right about here. And they're still saying it's going to move off into Texas. I don't know about that, but it's going to spray a whole lot of water into Louisiana starting now. And watch how it just sounds like a shotgun of rain. Just click, click, boom. There goes one. Look at that. We're going to total participatory water. That's all the water that is willing to participate in this event. Yeah, it looks bad. There's something weird looking about this. Now we're going to total cloud water. Okay, yep, that looks bad. Remember, it's got another one behind it, in case you haven't been paying attention. Now we're going to 3 hour oh, yeah, dude. Okay, that is 3 hour precipitation. And rarely does it get yellow. So that'll be pushing it up. That'll be pushing it up onto the shore. Not good. Not good. Now we're going to move ahead. Move it over. Now we're going in 3 hour intervals here. And this is the GPS model, I believe. See that? It's going to push all that rain, and it splits. This kicks it back towards Louisiana and breaks it up. Then the eye moves left, regathers moisture, then moves it through Houston, right on Houston. And then it carries on through the rest of America. It goes up and out. And then it continues to be a rainmaker, creating the same crazy line. Wow. All right. Now we're going to check out mean sea level pressure, because that's sexy. Everybody loves mean sea level pressure. Kind of get an idea what's going on here. That's what we're going to do. We're going to kind of get an idea what's going on here. Yep. Outer space. Pressing down on inner space. That's not looking good. Nope. All right. Whoa. It's the big surge at 21st, 19. All right, we're now going to watch the European model on Windy, because the models are all over the place. And yeah, this one pulls the storm towards Houston. It still brings a hellaton of rain into Louisiana. Then brings a lot of rain into Houston and Alabama, Mississippi. It looks like this event is definitely going to bring a lot of rain to the Gulf Coast. So that's what we should plan and prepare for. You know what I'm saying? Together as a team. Wow, look at that. It all then forms up, was it 23rd, Friday? To kind of coat the eastern coast again. And we got our other storm coming down through Canada. It's hurtling over the high pressure wall that's blocking California from moisture. This doesn't have that second hurricane doing much. Okay, we will now switch over to the GFS, which is the American model. This has it heading straight towards Louisiana, kind of knuckleballing to the west.